Director Doug as he spans the globe by sea, by land, and air to bring you the best of Figures in Action!
The big event that actually BBC Enterprises put on at Longleat, which is one of the stately homes of Britain, the home of the Marquis of Bath. The BBC, a colleague of mine who ran BBC Exhibitions, had a Doctor Who exhibition there, because like a lot of these old stately homes, the only way they can afford to keep them open is to have the public come in and walk around the house and marvel at all the fittings and furnishings, but also to have one or two little sideshows as well. And the Doctor Who exhibition was, of course, one of the sideshows. So BBC then talked to the good Marquis about actually having a Doctor Who event over a long weekend. And he could see the cash register ringing up all the bucks to be made out of that. He said, yes, most certainly. But he's a great guy, Marquis of Bath in his own right. So we had this. I ran the merchandise tent, so there's this huge marquee, and some of the licensees were there selling their own product. BBC Exhibitions had own things they made, which they sold at their exhibitions. They had 2 or 3 sites. And we had BBC Publications there. We had W.H. Allen, who published all the Doctor Who stories. Had BBC Home Video, who was busy putting out the videos in those days. And quite all the Doctor Who magazine was there and things like that. And we actually sold out of merchandise. We had a lot of merchandise, but we sold out there because the event itself was a sellout. And a lot of people who came on the first day were turned away. And there's a story which I've seen on if you Google Doctor Who now on one of the websites there, about a guy, I'm not sure what his connection is now, he may be on the production staff, but I think he's late 30s. But he's saying how his parents took him there as an 8-year-old and they couldn't get in on the first day. They were amongst the people outside. And one of the things he remembers there was Peter Davison, who came round to talk to the people who were still hanging around outside in case they could get in a bit later in the day, and how friendly he was and how nice. And that's worth a mention. But his dad, they didn't live that far away. They're in the city of Bristol, and that's like Bath and Somerset. It's sort of down the road. But his dad got him up well before sunrise. He said, we're not going to miss out again now. So the family took off and they were there very early. I'm sure they still had to queue outside for a long time before they could get in, before we were all ready. But the talent was there again. It was like having a convention, but instead of having it in a hotel, there was much more, because BBC was able to bring along so many of its own elements. The radiophonic workshop, which recorded the theme tune, which has always, it's slightly changed now. It also has changed over the years, but it gave it outer worldly sort of feel to the tune. It wasn't just another piece of music composed by an in-house composer who was involved, Ron Grainer, but he's quoted as saying, "Did I write that?" when he heard it, because those of you who are familiar with Doctor Who and the is not something that you just play on a guitar and a piano or a violin. So that was the BBC's radiophonic workshop, making all the strange noises and distorting the actors' voices if they had to sound like a Dalek, etc., and K9 and all that stuff. But all of that was fair. So the people who went to Longleat on that occasion, they got their money's worth. That was, I think that was 82, might have been 81 or 82. The end of 85, I left the BBC, and just a small biographical piece, I and another guy got the rights to represent Hearst Corporation, the American Hearst Corporation. So everything was now turned around completely, and we were representing him in Britain. There were a lot of children there, but again, of course, that was a good family outing. I mean, just to be at Longleat itself is a nice place, and that was worth a visit for those who hadn't done it. But there were some people who came in and they were only there to see the house, and that was separate. But we had a very large part of his estate, and we were set up there in our area, and that was a huge area.
How many people would you guesstimate?
There were thousands. There were so many actors and actresses from the series, monsters who were static monsters because they were the costumes. There were a lot of the people dressed up who you never knew was inside the costume, but ones that could walk around. They were all there, and there was a companion then called Tegan, and this chap now, I was only 8 at the time, I didn't know who the actress was, but I saw her coming towards me, and I couldn't believe it, it was Tegan. So I had to say, Tegan, I love you. But you can see the parents there. I mean, he had a brother about the same age as well, apparently, and you can see mum and dad say, oh no, we can't get in. And the kids say, when are we going to get in? When are we going to see Dr. Who? When are we going to see Tegan? You know.
Oh boy.
So there we are, yes. They had to go again the next day, didn't
Well,
they?
it was a happy ending.
It was a happy ending.
Excellent.
Yes.